My old Toyota Corolla is a great old car, but unfortunately the seatbelts do not retract as well as they used to, and so I decided to dig into it and try and pull it out and see what we can do about that. The first step really is just to pull out the door card and remove the seatbelt completely. Once we get the retractor, the seatbelt, and all of that stuff out of there, we then need to move on to removing the seatbelt from the seatbelt retractor so we can move forward from there. We've got our seatbelt retractor out of the car, and what we need to do is hold this green piece tight and push the seatbelt through and pull the pin, pull that white bar, plastic white bar out of there. So let's try and do that. So what I think I'm going to do is just try and get a piece of metal hooked on the loop, and there we go. So we've got that up and out. So the key is to hold onto the green piece so it doesn't unwind on you, because then that will unwind your whole flat spring. You want to make sure that we keep a little bit of tension on it, on that spring, and we're going to push out this white plastic bar and then just pull the seatbelt out. Okay, now that we got the seatbelt out, we want to go take it and wash it. So we pulled off our seatbelt, and you can see it's 25 years worth of grime and dirt, and it's pretty gross. So we just used some dish soap and a little bit of water, and we're just going to clean it off and let it dry out before we put it back in the car. Hey guys, so now we're back here the next day. We let our seatbelt dry, so we've got our nice clean and dry seatbelt. We just hung it out overnight. You could probably just let it out, sit out in the sun if you wanted to. I didn't want to put it in the dryer to dry it because, you know, there's still some heavy parts attached here. And then we have our seatbelt retractor that we stuck a screwdriver and a pin through to prevent it from unwinding. So now what we need to do is wind this back up and thread this back through once we get it tight. So let's do that. So the trick with the winder here, and this is really important when you're taking it off, is we have this ball check right there, and it needs to be perfectly vertical and also tilted towards you a little bit in order for the winder to release the belt. If you have it sideways, upside down, you're not going to be able to release the belt. So that's really important to know on that. And on the other side, you can see we've got our wound spring. And so what we need to do is, over time, you know, this 25-year-old flat spring has started to wear. So we're going to spin it and tighten this up before we put the belt back on there. Okay, there we go. So you can see we've got our spring is significantly more tighter wound, and really the trick with this was making sure that we kept it upright and tilted towards us as we were spinning, and make sure that you hold on to the green centerpiece, otherwise it's just going to spin back on you. So now we've got it tight, we've got it blocked again with our pin, and we're going to put our seatbelt back through there. The other trick I'd suggest is take a look at how this is bent, because we want to make sure that we're putting it back on there correctly. Otherwise you're going to have to pull it off and flip it around. So we know we want to go in this way because the retractor wants to spin around. It's also worth noting at this point that you can see we've got one side that's open and it has a big dot here. That's the side that the bar, that plastic bar, wants to go into. Through the plastic on the back, and I'm going to just pull a little bit of slack through and forward, and then we're going to drop it down into that small opening right there. We're just going to work it in. And voila. Put our plastic bar back in there. Hold on to the green, pull it snug, and there we go. Let's go put it back in the car. Okay, so there we go. We've got it reinstalled into the car. And really the only tricks with this reinstallation are make sure that you have it facing the right way. The easy way to figure that out is if you have a white paddle that needs to contact the door trigger, make sure that that is facing the correct direction. Otherwise, just make sure that you're on the inside of the bulkhead and you should be good. There we go. It's not dangling anymore off the side of the car. Okay, so there we go. We got our seatbelt reinstalled and it's working quite a bit better. Some notes that I would say, you could probably go a little bit tighter on the flat spring than I did, and I think that'll give you a little bit better performance. Also, make sure that you slide all of the fittings back onto the belt before you try and reinstall it. Some of those plastic pieces, they need to go back onto the belt before you put it back together. So, but that's it. It's pretty easy. You know, this is easily a 20-minute removal, wash it, dry it, and then another 20 minutes to put it back in. It's super easy, just a couple tools. All you really need is a 12 millimeter, 14 millimeter wrench, and then a piece of metal. Hope this was helpful, and we'll see you again next time. Thanks.